Good evening. The time is 6:49 PM and I am calling to order the regular meeting for the Town of Lochbuie Board of Trustees on February 4th, 2025. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Roll call, please.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Here.
Trustee Bristow,
Here.
Trustee Strock,
Present.
Trustee Westcott,
Here.
Trustee Wattenberg. Sorry, I'm here. Trustee Mendoza. Here.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving our agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Our agenda is approved. Mrs. Bowen, did anybody sign up for public comment this evening? Anybody online wishing to make public comment this evening? Hearing none, we will move on to our consent agenda. Items on our consent agenda for the benefit of our visitors are the payment approval report in the amount of $1,103,388.91, as well as our minutes from January 21st. There was one minor date correction on those minutes to reflect that we had continued those annexation hearings to this evening, February 4th. It was misstated in the minutes. With that adjustment, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
Trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
Trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Trustee Strock,
Yes.
And our consent agenda is approved. Our action items this evening, the first three are continued matters per published notice of public hearing regarding BNSF annexations number 2, number 3, and number 5, referring to resolutions 2024-22, 2024-23, and 2024-57. The time is 6:53 PM and I am opening our public hearing. I would at this time entertain a motion to continue the hearing for all three of these resolutions and annexations to February 18th, 2025, as the matter is being held in abeyance pursuant to CRS Section 31-12-114.
I move to continue all three resolutions regarding BNSF annexations number 2, number 3, and number 5 to February 18th at 6:30 PM at Town Hall, 703 Wild County Road 37, and by Zoom, as this matter is being held in abeyance pursuant to CRS Section 31-12-114.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue these. Roll call, please.
Trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
Trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Trustee Strock,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes. Thank you. And this is continued to February 18th, so I will close this public hearing at 6:54 PM. Moving on, we are going to have a public hearing for ordinance 2025-703 regarding a gas franchise. And so do you want to speak before I open the hearing? Shall I open the hearing and then you speak, Mr. Euchert?
If you could open the hearing at the top, I think
Okay.
that would be.
The time is 6:55 and our public hearing for ordinance 2025-703 is open. Mr. Euchert.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I get into the agenda item summary, on the dais in front of you is a franchise agreement highlights from the agreement provided by Excel Energy. And we do have a representative here tonight from Excel. So I'd ask that this be entered into the record. I'll provide. The town's natural gas franchise agreement with Excel was set to expire in December last year. On December 17th of last year, the board approved ordinance 24-702, which extended that agreement until February 28th while the new agreement was being drafted. Similar to the previous agreement, this new franchise agreement would have a 20-year term. The agreement grants Excel the non-exclusive right to make reasonable use of town streets, easements, and other town property to provide utility service to the town in its residential and residents and businesses. It also includes provisions for placing company facilities in the town to provide service. Overall, Excel is required to comply with all town ordinances and regulations. Additionally, this ordinance eliminates Article 3 from the Lochbuie Municipal Code, which contained the entire current agreement. I was going to say previous, but the entire current agreement. That is an older practice that's no longer recommended because the franchise agreement is a contract and not code. Our town attorney's office agrees with this change. So it approves the agreement and takes it out from the code. Approval of this franchise agreement requires 2 readings and public hearings, which is a little different from the typical ordinance that you see. The second reading and public hearing will be held at the next board meeting on February 18th. In your packet is also evidence of the publications that were required for this franchise renewal. In the packet tonight are also just some key points from the franchise agreement, the term of 20 years. It would take effect March 1st and expire in February of 2045. It's a standard term for Excel franchise agreements. The franchise fee would remain the same. It's 3% of gross revenues, which is passed along to the customers, our residents and businesses in town. The rates that Excel charges the customers are regulated by the Public Utilities Commission, and they are not attached to this franchise agreement. We have an audit. There's an audit clause in there that the town can request an audit every 3 years. There are performance obligations. The section referenced outlines several requirements regarding town facilities that Excel must adhere to. Generally speaking, they're required to restore any affected town streets and other property at its expense to a condition substantially the same as it existed before the work and that meets applicable town standards. Under our financial considerations, just to give you an idea of what that franchise fee generates this year, for last year in 24, we estimate just over $46,000 in fees. I don't have the precise number because at the time of this packet, we didn't have the December information in yet. That is all I have. Staff has a recommended motion in there. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And Mr. Roddick is here from Excel as well.
Thank you very much. Just to clarify, you have the recommended motion, but that won't be made tonight because we're required to have the second public hearing, correct?
There should be there will be two motions required for each reading and public hearing to approve the order.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad I asked that question. Does anybody else have any questions regarding the franchise agreement? All right, seeing none, is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 2025-703, granting a gas franchise to Public Service Company of Colorado, its affiliates, successors, and assigns the right to use the streets within the town to furnish, sell, transport, transmit, and distribute gas to the town and to the residents of the town, granting the right to acquire, construct, install, locate, maintain, operate, and extend into, within, and through the town all facilities reasonably necessary to furnish, sell, transmit, and distribute gas within and through the town, and fixing the terms and conditions thereof.
Great. Mayor, just point of order quickly. Because this is a public hearing, should we ask if there's anyone for public comment?
You are
Before we
so
make a
right,
motion, sorry,
Mayor Pro
Trustee
Tem.
Strong.
No, thank you. We can just hold that motion and see if there's anybody that would like to say anything regarding the public hearing. Thank you for the reminder. Go ahead, unmute the microphone, state your name for the record, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Hans Rodvik, Area Manager for Xcel Energy, to help you guys navigate the fun of renewing a franchise agreement. Cover the Northern Colorado area for Xcel. I do our local government community affairs based up in Greeley. Weld County is one of the counties I get to work with. Just want to say a couple of comments about the franchise. Mr. Ukert hit on most of the highlights. One of the other benefits too is that we get to do yearly coordination meetings. So I'll be working with AJ and his team to just set up to make sure that when the town is planning projects, specifically road improvement projects that might impact our assets and vice versa, if we have company-driven projects, I like to get together in the first quarter of each year and kind of just map that out and make sure everybody's on the same page. We have about roughly 3,000 customers, 3,000 meters in the town. And as you guys continue to experience growth in the area, we'll probably see those numbers continue to tick up. One of the questions that I know Mr. Ukert had asked was who was going to be serving the newly annexed and to be annexed BNSF lands. Finally did get an answer back on that. We are, so it's within our gas service territory. That's going to be United Power on the electric side of things. And then I was just working with our guys today to figure out if we have any assets close to the area to serve that load. So mostly going to be an electric load, but there might be a small gas load there.
Thank you for sharing that information. Do you know when we might receive that mapping? I know we've asked many times for some of that GIS work and provided some layers. Do you have a time frame on when we might see something?
I was told that we were going to expect it this year. Our siting and land rights team was working basically on building out a new program that was going to allow us to do that and bring some more folks on board to enhance that tool to make it easier. I really appreciate, the town's capacity and the staff that you guys were able to generate those maps of the annexed lands and send it over to our team to verify that. I'll circle back up with our team to figure out when we would have a specific map generated on our side.
Thank you. Anything else you wanted to share with us?
No, I just want you guys to make sure, Mayor, I think the last time I was here, you might not have been here, so I'll make sure you have my card. My job is just to be your point of contact when it comes up with anything. If any of your constituents have questions about their gas service or want to know more about the programs that we might offer, whether it's, providing discounted rates or things of that nature, feel free to reach out. We're here to be a resource.
Great, thank you so much. We are still in the public hearing. Is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding this matter? Seeing none, I think it's acceptable to bring what trustee Strock already stated. Oh, I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:04 PM and then bring the motion back before us without asking him to read all of that again. Is there a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second, roll call, please.
Trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Strock,
Yes.
trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
Thank you, and the motion carries. Moving on in our agenda, we have Resolution 2025-11. Mr. White.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. This is part of the annual 2025 payment maintenance program. This is for the right-of-way roadway asset services. This is a company that will come out. They have some specialized technology that actually will drive down every single road in the town. It collects a lot of data on the road. They have specialized equipment that can read into the pavement. And what they do is they'll give a printout of the condition of each segment of roadway. So they'll break it down into segments depending on its rating. From this, what they'll do is they'll take it and they'll develop a payment maintenance program for us. In other words, what they'll say is, here's where you should focus first, here's where you should focus next, and here's where you don't really need to focus right now. What they can do is they can take that, depending on the amount of money that's allocated towards the program, they can say, this is the best way to spend that money. This is how you get your best bang for your buck. This is how you make your pavement last, as long as you can make it last with the amount of funding that you're getting. So it's something that's commonly done almost everywhere that has a comprehensive payment maintenance program. So it's highly recommended to do this. And this will really set Lock Buoy up for a very successful pavement maintenance program versus us just taking our best guess, trying to figure out what roadways are the best to spend the money on. This will tell you where's the best place to spend your money. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have questions?
So I started delving into it a little bit, and I see there's a pavement management plans, and then there's payment asset management. So it's kind of two different things. The asset plan is exactly what you're talking about, going around and looking at everything. But within that then, isn't there a management plan so that we can go from step to step to step? But I was kind of wondering, so.
Yeah, that's correct. And one of the things that they do, they'll develop that plan for you, and then you put that plan in. And if your spending changes for whatever reason, you can readjust that plan. The nice thing about it is we're not buying their software. I get so tired of everybody having software that they offer to pay us. The very nice thing is the OpenGov software that the board previously approved for us to do our asset management will take this data and it will go into that system, and that system will do the exact same thing for us. So we're already set up to have this data integrated into our existing software management system.
Okay, I got a few more. Over the years, haven't we had some kind of management plan for our roads?
We do. We've done it like all small towns do it at the very beginning, and then as you grow, you got to get more comprehensive. There's two ways of doing it. There's the visual, which is what most municipalities start out at. Once you start to grow and you're getting more and more road network under you, it gets more and more difficult to actually keep up with that. So now, instead of just using the visual, you get really technical, you use the technology that's available, and you get really good concrete data. A visual inspection is going to be hit or miss. It's just based on somebody's interpretation of what they're seeing, alligator cracking or whatever, longitudinal cracks or whatever. And they try to interpret that for what that means. This will look into the pavement and tell you the condition of that pavement. So we have had one, but this is just taking that to another level.
I see. And I guess my next question is, did you get more than one bid for this?
There's
There's quite a few different companies.
Yeah, there's a few that, there's only a few that really have the technology that you actually want to use and that have the expertise to do it. These guys are one of the primary ones. They have engineers on staff, so they're an engineering firm. So you can do a request for proposals when you have an engineering firm, but you can't do a request for quotes. In other words, if we were to put this out to bid, or not to bid, but if we were to put a proposal out, we'd get submittals from different companies. If you don't know, if you haven't done this before, if you don't know which company's about. But you're not allowed to ask them for how much it's going to cost until you get into contract negotiations with them, because it is an engineering service, okay? So for architectural and engineering services, you can't ask for the dollar amount first. You have to get in and you have to negotiate the service, and then you can ask them. If you don't like that quote, then you can go on to the next one. Well, I've done quite a few of these and they're all about the same. Their price is pretty close to being the same. So the amount of staff time that you would waste going through that process of 3 to 4 months would not net gain you anything at the end. So just knowing that this is a company that's around, there's a couple of good ones. There's a lot of not so good ones, but this is a pretty good firm. They're used by CDOT, as a matter of fact, and a lot of other municipalities around. So that's,
All
I
right.
hope that answers your question on that.
It does.
Okay.
My next question, AJ, do you know these guys?
Not personally.
Not personally. You've used them before?
My community I worked for did, but it was, I believe after I left.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Is that everything, sir? Yeah. Anybody else with questions? Trustee Wattenberg, I don't want to forget about you, so please unmute your microphone if you need anything.
I will, but I'm good. I didn't have any questions. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for resolution number 2025-11, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Lockbowie, Colorado, approving an agreement between the Town of Lockbowie and Road Asset Services for payment condition assessment services.
Is there a second?
Can I, trustee Strock, just politely ask, can we amend your motion to add in an amount not to exceed $52,800? Would you be agreeable to that?
Fine with me?
I'll second the motion.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
trustee Westcott,
Yes.
trustee Strock, trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
And the motion carries. Resolution 2025-12. Mr. White.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. This is, everybody is aware of what's going on Weld County Road 39, where we have another culvert that has crushed in on us. This particular service is for the engineers, Kimley Horn, to actually get started on some design alternatives. This isn't the full contract for them to do the repair because we don't know which direction FRICO is going to take us yet. So what this is, they're going to do some data collection. They're going to do some survey of the area. They're going to come up with 3 alternatives. And then we're gonna have a meeting with FRICO, discuss those three alternatives with them. And then depending on the feedback we get from them, of which direction that they would prefer that we go or that we agree on that we're going to go, then we'll come back with another contract that will be for the actual design of that. So we're moving along pretty quickly. The contractor, I don't know if anybody's been by it, but the contractor was out there, dug up both sides of the culvert so that we could actually see the extent of the damage. It's pretty rusted out. I think it's a real good thing that we shut the road down because the culvert that goes underneath the road, and that is a 72-inch pipe, it's very big. So if that were to cave in like the sides did, that would be a very big hole. It's very deep. It's probably 4 to 5 feet deep. So if that were to just kind of cave in, you're looking at a pretty significant hole out there. So I think it's a good thing that we did close the road because the bottom of that's just gone. There's no bottom. But anyways, we're going to come up with those alternatives. This is the engineering contract that'll get us started on that, and hopefully we'll be on our way very quickly.
Thank you very much for that. Anybody with questions?
I have a quick question. Have we used this company for any other projects within Luckily before, or just in case there's something to reference or, previous experience?
Yeah, we have not used them here. I've used them for different things up in Johnstown. One of the reasons that I went with Kimley Horn is because they have a good working relationship with FRICO. They've done some repairs with FRICO before, specifically on culverts. So they know going into it what FRICO is going to be looking for. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I have two questions, I guess. Well, one comment and a question. I went out there and looked at that, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, where you take one pipe and stick it in a bigger pipe and then in a bigger pipe instead of sealing them together. And then the east end of it, shoots 4 or 5 feet up in the air. It's incredible. And you're right, it needs to be replaced. My question is, why is Lock Buoy on the hook for the whole thing?
Well, that's a good question. So there's, the water companies have taken a position and the courts have agreed with them that the culvert would not be there if the road was not there. If the road was not there, that would be an open channel all the way through. And more often than not, the culvert was there before the ditch was there before the road was there. So it's almost a prescriptive right that they have, but they would be just as happy if you took it out and just left it an open channel. But that's kind of the theory behind it, that the culvert is only there because the town needs the road there. They don't need the road, so.
Okay, I guess that's fair enough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, they've transferred it over to us, so it might not hurt to ask that, but I'm pretty sure I know what the answer would be on that.
All right, thank you so much.
Anyway, you're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 2025-12, authorizing a contract for engineering design services pertaining to Weld County Road 39, Baby Steep Canal Culvert Emergency Repair Project in the amount not to exceed $35,400.
Thank you. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Strock,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
Trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey.
Yes. And the motion carries. The microphone did something weird. Maybe I pushed the button really fast, I guess. All right. Staff and attorney updates. Are there any staff updates this evening? Bowen?
I just wanted to quickly introduce Paula Hernandez. She's been here almost 3 years, so you've probably seen her, but she's the deputy clerk now, so she'll be joining.
Thank you and welcome. We're glad to have you here.
just a couple reminders of our meeting schedule. We've got our next board meeting on February 18th, sewer board meeting February 27th. And we received a request from the Meadow Ridge PTO. And I've forwarded it by email. Apologies, just right before this. Joshua Messer, who's the treasurer for the PTO. They're asking to support their annual Shamrock Shuffle. That's on Friday, March 14th. And the levels that they have, bronze, 100, silver level 250, and gold level 500. We supported at the gold level last year. And they're, of course, requesting the similar sponsorship level. We do have funds available from our special events line item, if the board were so inclined. And I guess tonight I would just like to gauge interest. And if you would like any more information, just let me know.
Thank you very much. I am definitely interested in continuing to support the school district. Is that something we need to make a motion on? I move to provide a gold sponsorship at the upcoming Meadow Ridge and Lock Bowie PTO Second Annual Shamrock Shuffle in the amount not to exceed $500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Strong,
Yes.
trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
trustee Bristow,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Westcott.
Yes. And the motion carries. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Ukert?
One last thing, compiling our list of discussion topics and work session items. So I know you're all sending those in, and so I'm making the list and checking it twice.
Thank you. And I have some I've received from you that I will make sure get on his list if they're not there already.
Would
Trustee
it be
Westcott?
possible to make that a shared document, or at least giving us view only so we can see what's already on there?
Yes, absolutely.
Great idea. Thank you. Yes, Mr. White.
Mayor, I just wanted to report, we did notify CDOT that the lights were not working on the over ramp. So hopefully their maintenance crew is going to be taken care of.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kennedy, anything tonight?
Yes, Mayor, just a quick addition. I'm happy to announce that we do have one qualified applicant for the planner position and one qualified applicant for the engineer position. So we're gonna hopefully get a few more into that pool and then start looking at interviews. So things are looking up a little bit.
That's a great start and good news. Thank you. All right, town attorney updates. Anything, Mr. Martin, Mr. Ann? Good to see you.
Yes, Mayor, one thing on action items 7A through C. Do you expect to hear something either tomorrow evening or the following day from Hudson's Council on their board's actions on completing the Ranchos East disconnection? Once I do hear that, I'll be sure to follow up with the board, and then I will also talk to the board offline about next steps.
Very good. Thank you so much. All right, mayor and trustee comments. Trustee Wattenberg, we'll start with you.
I didn't have anything for tonight. I've got some other things to talk about and some more separate work sessions, but nothing for today.
Thank you. Trustee Westcott.
I don't have a lot. I just wanted to really express my thanks to Troy. Your level of expertise in dealing with these things that have come up this year, I feel like has been tremendous and really needed. So I'm really glad that you're here. I wish you were here for longer, but yeah. Thank you so much for all you're doing. And AJ, I just wanted to mention to you that I really appreciated the text updates that you sent out last week regarding the goings on across the street. I know that at the school, there was a lot of tension around what that was. And so being able to communicate with my students what was going on, because they had questions, was helpful. And I think it eased their concerns a lot. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Strzok.
I wanted to comment about getting information at 3:45, 2 hours, 2.5 hours before board meeting. It's kind of confusing for me. It's hard for me to digest things, completely or more thoroughly. I just wanted to comment on that. Also, I haven't asked in a long time, but does anybody go out and inspect the head gate at Lake Henry? Used to be kind of a monthly thing.
I will check with my operations manager and I'm pretty sure he's doing that if it's on our maintenance list, but I will check with him and get back with you.
Okay, thank you. And then the only other thing I had is, and it may be improper for me to say this, but it seems like when we had our meeting with Tipton, when we had our meeting tonight, our work session, it seemed to me, or I felt personally, that maybe we should start those meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. And so I really don't know which is proper. And so I would address that to all of you, but that's all. So thank you.
Thank you. So would your suggestion be or that we end up saying it twice? Okay, thank you. I'll follow up on that. I appreciate it. Trustee Mendoza,
No comments from me tonight. Thank you.
thank you. Trustee Bristow,
I don't have anything tonight.
thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Cohen,
I also do not have anything today. Thank you.
awesome. I have maybe 6 or 7 things tonight. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I also just want to express my great appreciation to you, Troy, for all of your hard work coming in as interim Public Works Director. I appreciate your knowledge and your expertise. I appreciate your ability to immediately answer questions that are posed of you. And I just want to thank you. I want you to know how much we appreciate you and that you are leaving things in good hands for whomever is hired for that position. Mr. Kennedy, I'm excited to see the additions to your department. I appreciate all of the work that you do as well, sir. I think that it's important that we give people kudos more frequently. AJ, I've really appreciated our opportunities to have conversation. Not knowing if that's something normal that mayors and town managers do, but I just appreciate it. I think it helps me understand my role and responsibilities a little bit better. So thank you. And Keith, I want to thank you for being immediately responsive, probably too much so. When we send an email or a question and providing, pretty thorough information back to us to help answer the questions that we have. And Maureen, we are glad to see you. We appreciate you always being ready to jump in and help as well if it's needed. Heather, you are just incredible at what you do. Just responsive, thorough, organized. And Paula, we're glad that you're here to help her and looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more directly when you are at our meetings. So thank you. Guess that probably was about 6 or 7. I'm finished now. I would entertain a motion to move into executive session. The language for that is on the additional handout or at the top of page 3 of our agenda.
I move to go into executive session pursuant to CRS section 24-64024B and CRS section 24-6-4024E. L, I, it's an I, 4EI, excuse me. To receive legal advice related to an annexation agreement for real property located in unincorporated Weld County, as well as to determine positions and to instruct negotiators accordingly.
Second.
With a motion and a second to move to executive session, roll call, please.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
trustee Strock,
Yes.
trustee Bristow,
Yes.
trustee Mendoza,
Yes.
trustee Wattenberg,
Yes.
Mayor Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cohen.
Yes.
And the motion carries. We will take a couple of minutes to let people move out of this space and we will get started with the executive session.